The problem is people tend to overcomplicate the market because there's so many different symbols, different strategies out there. People tend to create more work for themselves than they need to. If you keep it simple, if you keep your process streamlined, there's no reason why you can't do incredible things from the markets. Before I get more into that, let me just share with you guys what I did this week. Anytime I make a move, I tell the members who are over at the Patreon, the link for that is down below in the video description. I told the guys on about Tuesday that Nvidia is going to drop hard, and there's a massive opportunity to do very, very well. It's a very lucrative opportunity if you buy put options. That's exactly what I did. You can see right here, those put options went up 97.6%. I'm not mad that it didn't go up 100%. I'll take the 97.6, which is a $22,000 profit gain just from that trade in a couple of days' time. I always say the market is like the great equalizer, regardless of what your starting position is in life, regardless of what your education is, your current occupation, what your mental capacity is. You have the ability to reconstruct your future through the markets. All you need is a know-how, a little bit of guidance, and repetition, and you'll get there. So what you're saying here, I want you guys to take inspiration from it, because it really will be your reality. It's inevitable. If you keep listening to what I'm saying, put it into practice, it's inevitable that one day you too will be making $22,000 from a trade. I had someone in the comments say, how many trades do I take a week? You only need to take one trade a week. Okay, this week I only took this one trade on Nvidia, and that was it. 22,000 bank, that's it. Look forward to the next week. It's as simple as that. But I'm gonna show you guys how you can keep things very streamlined, how you can reduce complexity, which will overcloud your judgment when it comes to the markets, right? As long as you have a very streamlined process, A, B, C, D, all you've got to do is put the reps in, and you'll see the rewards materialize over the weeks. Okay? It's inevitable. So you want to cut out the complexity. That's what I'll show you guys in this video. And you too will be hitting numbers like this. You'll see the numbers climb. It wasn't always that I was making 22,000 on a trade. Okay, I started off on low ball numbers, $10 here, 100 here. But over the years, over the 10 years, that number ballooned up to where it's currently at. And there's no reason why it shouldn't continue to do so. That's why I say it's the great equalizer. Okay. So any of you guys who are looking to extract money from the markets, you want to take in what I'm saying and definitely apply it. You're going to do very well for yourselves. And it's a lot easier than you think, which is the good part. Okay. Let's jump into the charts. Firstly, let's just kind of break down what's happened over the last couple of weeks, because the markets have moved around quite a bit. So before you kind of take any trade or get active in the markets, you want to have an understanding of what it's done over the last couple of weeks. If you don't have an understanding of what it's done over the last couple of weeks, you're not going to have a good judgment. Okay, you're going to be missing information. So you want to have a complete picture of what has taken place in recent times, because if you have a complete picture of what's taken place in recent times, it's going to act as a good foundation for what is to come. You're going to be able to take in that intel, take in that information, decipher what's really going on in the markets, and then put in the right moves with good predictions for the future. Okay, and if you do that, you're going to be right. You're going to be right more than you're wrong, and that's how you walk away with some good, lucrative trades from the market. All we need to do this week is look at the QQQ, so that's your Nasdaq, the S&P 500, and your Dow. Those alone are going to give you a very good picture of what's happened in the markets and what is to come. Firstly, though, you want to understand that the market had a very large decline from, let's move this out of the way. August. Right, in August you had a pretty big decline. But the key thing is that you had that 5-wave completion, right? So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. That signaled the bottom. When you get that 5-wave completion, it means that the market is ready to turn around. Market did turn around, and we saw a big push higher. Then we saw like 12 straight days, and after that market is kind of just dribbled lower. And that's where we're currently at. So in the grand scheme of things, we're still in a very strong position, right? If you zoom out, look to the left, you can see that the market has been performing exceptionally strong. And a down week that we've had this week doesn't cloud or override the overall momentum that the market has seen in the last couple of months. All it is what we call a retracement. But the key thing is though, you then want to map out areas of significance. These are just going to be your areas of support. So when it comes to the NASDAQ, the market has pushed into this 18.5 region, so 18,500. And that is a key level of support. We've seen some historic important activity where price acted as where this level acted as resistance and this level acted as support for some pretty big moves. So the fact that we've pulled back into that level gives you an insight that, okay, yes, we've had a down week, but that doesn't mean that that should continue. That could just be moving into a point of significance to move higher, right? So the Qs, the NASDAQ has moved into this 18,500 level, which is a level of support. It hasn't broken that level. It stopped there on Friday. It paused. Now, had it broken that level, we would probably be having a different conversation. Not only that, all right, we can see that we've pulled back into this 61% retracement, right? Pulling back into that 61% retracement, a lot of times you're going to get reversals at the 50 or the 60. So you should have a pretty good understanding that, okay, the market has had 5 days where it's gone down in a row and there's a lot of negativity out there. But when you look at the charts, it's a different story. We just pulled into a level of support, which is telling for the next move. Okay, so now you can see what you're doing is you're front running the market movement. You're not backpedaling like what you'll see in a lot of media posts or things that are out there. You're actually front running this. You're actually one step ahead. You actually have information that's going to provide guidance for what the next move is going to be. And if you have that information that provides guidance for what the next move can be, you can then put into place lucrative trades, right? Whether you use the option markets to take advantage of that. If we look at the S&P 500, again, you can kind of see the similar type of structure, but we haven't broken this key support level, right? This key support level has seen some, again, good historic activity where it's acted as a level of support around that 5,400 level on the S&P 500. The Dow is also pretty interesting to look at as well because itself has pulled into a range where we've seen it act as support and a resistance historically. So the fact that all markets have moved into key levels of support leads to the next movement being higher, right? It leads to a reversal in price, which would completely blindside most people who are out there in the markets right now, because most people actually think that we're going to continue to go lower. But the charts are telling you a different story. We're not seeing any real significant breaks. And if you want to confirm that, what you want to do then is go down different names that are in the index, and they will tell you whether we've seen key breaks of support or key, prices move to areas where you should be worried. Worried probably isn't the right word because you never want to be worried in the markets, but cautious is a better word. A big name like, and the way that you can do that very easily is the market put in a very significant bottom or low on the 5th of August. That 5th of August low across the board of the market hasn't been broken. You could look at several different names, right? That 5th of August low hasn't been taken out by the majority of names that are out there. Even Nvidia, that's had a pretty big decline this week. So the whole point to say is that we still have stored energy and stored momentum in the market. And once that's released, you're going to see very strong price movements higher. And if you're on the right side of the trade, so that's call options, which just magnifies a move higher in terms of returns, you can do very well for yourselves. Now, in terms of the name, like at this point, you don't need to overcomplicate things by going to, look, there's thousands of different ticker symbols and names that are out there in the markets, but you don't need to overcomplicate it by going to trade on something random, right? Just keep it simple. The overall index tells you what we are expecting, right? The big three indexes, the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, tells you where the markets are going to be going in the next week or two. Just use that to your advantage. How can you use that to your advantage, right? What's the maximum, the best symbol out there to take advantage of what I just spoke about? TQQQ. TQQQ moves 3 times the NASDAQ. So if the NASDAQ moves 1%, TQQQ will move 3 times. That means your underlying option will move 50% more. All right, so TQQQ, even that in itself, you can see we have moved into a level of support, a key level of support at this 57 level. You can see it acted as support historically, resistance. This is a key area. So the fact that all markets are moving into this significant level tells you that something is brewing, right? Tells you that the current move isn't the true move. The current move is setting up for something greater. And if you position yourselves for the true intended move, that's how you walk away with 4 or 5 figure profits on a consistent basis. So TQQQ is looking very good. Now, Mondays and Fridays are suboptimal days to trade. So expectation for Monday is that you're probably going to get some form of continuation of Friday. So you might get weakness or flat across the board, weak, then it moves up, doesn't really do too much. And then the true intended move comes Tuesday or Wednesday. That's normally how it works. So Mondays I don't normally trade because it's normally just a follow through of the last week. So Tuesday or Wednesday are going to be the optimal days. And if you want to know exactly when I get into the trade, Patreon link is down below. All right, I've got the option chain, so you guys can check that out. So in terms of option chain, what I'm looking at for TQQQ is I'm looking at the 57s or the 58s. Okay. This is expiration 13th of September, and you can pick these up on the cheap. They're like $240 or $240 for the 57s, $2, so $200 for the 58s. These are call options, and I do expect these call options to move up anywhere in the region of 75 to 100% by the close of next week. So you get that questionable day on Monday, a little bit of follow through from the week before, a little bit of weakness, people kind of thinking, okay, there's going to be a continuation of the week we just had, and then you get that big reversal on Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest for a move much higher. And the market has so much stored up energy that you could easily see the NASDAQ move up 2% in a single day, meaning that your TQQQ will move up 6%, meaning that your options will move up 90%. Okay. So that's the expectation. That's what I'm expecting for next week. And that's how you guys can simplify this overcomplicated game that we call the markets, right? Too many people get too pulled into different directions and different trading strategies and different ticker symbols that are out there, different methodologies and all this kind of stuff. Just keep it simple. The simple stuff works. The basics work. If you have a plan to go with the basics, there's no reason why you can't do exceptional for yourselves in this game.